1, 2. This is Rockin' Larry Lockin', the Iceman Rockin' Larry Lockin'. Well, it's been a long time since I went by that name. You know, you can always tell, on a side note, you can always tell when the Pleiadians have infused themselves into a little bit of music, the little beeps and blips and blurps and little pulse tones and codes they add. Especially, you've seen it a lot in music from about the late 60s that ran into the early 80s. You know, in the 70s, a lot of their music was like that. A lot of the disco pulse tones and, you know, and the stuff that Pink Floyd and Yellow would do. You know, even back to some of the later stuff the Beatles would do. And, you know, just those little beeps and the little electronica sounds, you know, kind of electronica, weird psychedelic rock type of hybrid kind of tone codes. Anyway, strange stuff. Not really, though. They told me years ago we infused those styles into our music anyway, and pop culture, so not that surprised. In fact, lo and behold, of course, why would I be that surprised? We're going to talk to my higher self and my over self, apparently. I'm going to let them go ahead and come in and kind of give it from that perspective, all right? I'm just the lower self of the crew here, the collective that is Rockin' Larry Lockin', I suppose. But here we go. Well, thank you. Thank you to our lower self. We're so glad to be here. He has his higher self, his over self, and all his other selves. That's who we are. We're not his lower self, but he is his lower self. I guess we are in a way too. But we are, let us introduce ourselves. We are the collective consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy. We want to thank you as the collective consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy. You probably already know who we really are. You probably know us by another name. Of course, we're that cute little star cluster. You know what cute little star cluster. You know, the one with 7, and then 2 other to the side, 2 other stars to the side, making 9. We're talking about, of course, the parents, Atlas and Pleione. Those gorgeous daughters, Alcyone, Tegeta, Maya, Merope, Estrope, Calione, and Electra. Now, some of you might know them as Tegeta or Tegete. Either way, we won't be offended, our souls. It's okay. Let us tell you a little bit something about what's going on. Let us tell you a little story, or a true story that you're living right now. So you already know this. Okay, the creational source flow of all that is purging, or should we say, they're purging the dark but pushing the light. All over Mother Gaia, everywhere, every corner is lighting up. Everything. Listen, where there is pure light, no darkness can be, dear souls. Absolutely no darkness can be. We're not talking about the light, dear souls, that you may need to walk through an alley, you know, to see, or one that you may need to turn on to get up in the middle of the night. Okay, you understand what we're talking about. We're purging the dark, along with Alcyone, the great central sun of ours, and yours as well. This light, though, is like a life force. Okay, it's being seen and it's moving perpetually all across your planet. We say like life force, a light life force. We really mean it when we say that. This is a light life force. And a life force, too. This isn't our primary way of communicating, dear souls, so forgive us. But when we talk about light and all this light that is starting to hit the planet, all the great photos that are being taken, all the great images that are being captured, right? And then we also have people that talk about lens glare and lens flare. We're here to tell you, as the collective consciousness of the Milky Way galaxy, listen, the only true lens flare and camera flare that is true as far as what they're saying goes is, yes, dear souls, if you really have some dirt on your whatever device it is or type of device it is that you use to take photos of or see through, such as your eyeglasses, yes, you can get something like that out of dirt. Okay? Because it's reflecting a life force, but, it's going to be a little bit skewed seeing it through something like that. So in that aspect, I guess you could just continue, call that lens flare or camera glare. But when you're using a clean instrument, you're seeing the true pure light. You're seeing another dimension being reflected. You're seeing another dimension of sight that's coming into your purview of awareness. You understand? Okay? These reflections are life. That's just how it is. And here's another thing, dear ones. You're witnessing a realignment. You're realigning with your cosmic family is what is going on right now with your galactic brothers and sisters from all over the cosmos. I know, we know, what a crazy thought. There are other humans. There are humans like you out there too, dear souls. There might be one or two, but we've seen them. Just trust us, there's a couple. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our star family, there are a couple of us out here. And that is kind of, offering you a little, what we think is Pleiadian humor. We're a very sarcastic, humorous, loving race of people. Even we can at times be susceptible to our lower self getting a hold of us. But we digress. These vast waves of light, this light force, this consciousness is streaming. It's just teamed with a consciousness. It's teamed with the consciousness of the source flow of all that is. It consciously goes. And it's working on hyping up your frequencies. Every cell on Mother Gaia is being heightened as well right now. So it's not just you. We talk about this unity and collective. Okay, well, you all as an individual, right, are going through this. But Mother Gaia, of course, her frequencies are being adjusted. So you're feeling this right now. Okay, you're feeling her vibrations being increased and her frequency level being upped. Okay, and that's going to be important because you're moving more towards a telepathic way of being, dear souls, and light, being able to get into a new frequency to where you can hear light. That's a big one. That's a big one that's going to be talked about a lot coming up, is your frequency being increased so you can start hearing light. Because hearing and perceiving light and seeing the codes in light, and just sometimes the light itself, okay, this is how we're going to explain it. The light itself is a code, right, all the time. But sometimes you're going to see in your mind, you will see codes and symbols coming through that light. All right? And that'll be for something really in depth. Something simple to get and understand. The light itself may just trigger that in you. Okay? We hope that made some sense to your souls. Sometimes, again, our lower self can get the best of us. For sure. This light is hyping up your frequency. Every cell in your body, and we're going to get back to Mother Gaia. We're going to touch on her again real quick, okay? So what's happening is she's becoming like this big crystalline love sphere. This big candy store, you might say. This big crystalline love sphere. And that's what's happening to individuals, collectives, the planet itself. Okay, so we're taking you and her. We took you from nothing to AM radio. Scratchy, squelchy. We took you to FM. We took you to FM in stereo. We've taken you to internet, to satellite. So, and we're taking you to quantum now. We're going to take you to quantum school now, so to speak, dear souls. The consciousness source flow of all that is, that consciously goes, is basically recalibrating you. It's adjusting your antennas. It's upgrading you to having satellites, if you can imagine the difference, dear souls. Along with Alcyone, the great central sun of ours and yours, and of course, we are the collective consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy. You may know us as the Pleiades, which I'm sure you do, as our lower self would like to chuckle and say, if you don't know, you better ask somebody, or it might be a good idea. These energetic pulses, they're emanating from the collective consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy. They're reconfiguring your planet's energy. They're adjusting your fields. They're adjusting your grid. It's a shift of historic proportions, dear ones, mammoth. Cosmically mammoth, quantumly mammoth, however you want to put it. Things like those antennas of yours that are being upgraded to satellites, they're picking up information. This is a call from the divine source flow of all that is that consciously goes. And then yet again, while that's going on, Your transformation is being well-roundedly completed. All these things are coming together to push you into an extreme heightened state of awareness, okay? Everything has been about pushing you into a higher state of awareness, right? Okay? We know this. It's moving souls, it's moving you souls so fast. We'll put it this way. It's like you've been moving so fast through all these shifts, right? All these collective shifts, these unity shifts, these individual shifts. But now, have you noticed the last couple shifts, it's really starting to build that speed and momentum up, like you're getting ready on the ship to jump into warp speed. It's that build up. Okay, if you can imagine, you're going to hit warp speed sometime, and not in the too distant of your illusionary Earth time future. There's no way. Let us talk like our lower self for a second, or how he would say. But we're going to put it like this. There's no way. There's no way in hell that this shit can go back. Okay, it's not going back. Not at this point, no how, no way. There's just no way. I mean, when we say no way, there's no way even if the light went crazy and decided it wanted to. There's no way. It just can't be done. It can't be pushed back. Okay, it has nothing to do with time travel or going back in time and adjusting something. It can't. It's altered all kinds of time continuums and all sorts of dimensions and all sorts of timelines. It's just not. It's reset the whole game. You want to talk about the reset? There's a reset for you, dear souls. It's past the point of no return. It's great, yes, but dear souls, there is no way of going back. Oh, sure, okay. Could it be delayed for a second or two? Here and there? Possibly, but not really. As far as anything in the whole history of illusionary time goes, it wouldn't even really register a blip, any kind of hiccup or hold up at this point. It really wouldn't register a blip or slow it down enough to make any sort of real difference, honestly. Because a new chapter is emerging. Okay, this was foretold and thought about too. It's just that your ascended masters and those folks, they just didn't have the vocabulary you do now. Okay, you're living at real time. Check it out, you're living at real time. Okay, you're leaving the Kali Yuga for the Satya Yuga. All right, or the Kali Yuga. You're transferring into the Satya Yuga. All right, you know that you just left the age of Pisces finally, and I know, boy, hasn't it been a long time coming? Believe me, we don't exist in time up here like you do. But yeah, we have to tell you, dear souls, we were getting a little, what you would call earth sick of watching you have to go through it all the time. We felt for you because we know, dear souls, all kidding aside, it has been talked about in your earth terms over and over again on repetition for over a half a century. Okay, maybe going on 3/4 of a century now. But the dawning is definitely underway. It is true that in past decades, souls that were enlightened at the time, souls would get a little bit anxious, a little overzealous, and we don't blame them, carried away thinking that it was going to happen. What's going to happen any day now? We're getting into this game, this head trip of time counting, of it's going to be this year, it's going to be that year. No, it's going to be 2 more years. Dear souls, that the time for second guessing and guessing is just about over with. We're looking at our cosmic Gucci, and it's just about that time. Everything is accelerating. The light is accelerating. The light is ascending in your world. It was always there. It's just now you can perceive it, okay? You're just like you're getting the new frequency, so you can hear light. So that can help with your telepathy. Right? We talked about that earlier. Well, we will repeat this again. You will be hearing light. Okay? You will be picking up on the codes out of the light. If you've noticed lately, dear souls, in your New Age Lightworker Starseed community, have you noticed how popular light language is right now? It's accelerated, and you'll start seeing forms of this being taught in schools at some point in your existence. It's just the way that it's working. It's just the way that's going to flow. And isn't it great? Isn't it about time, dear souls? Now, the light from the creational source flow of all that is that consciously goes, and our great central sun, your great central sun, Alcyone, the one that spirals the love and the light back and forth from every direction, every day, infusing every dark corner. Like we had mentioned earlier, that's just the way it is. It's infusing light literally everywhere. Now, also too, dear souls, every single outdated way of thinking, oh, oh, it's just so, it always will be, and it always was, oh, it always was, so that's always the way it's going to be, oh, that's just going to be the way it always is. Yeah, okay, well, all that stuff is not going to play anymore, dear souls. That kind of mentality and that kind of way of doing things, they're crumbling. They're crumbling like a cracker being squeezed through the hands of one of your power lifters on your planet, dear souls. To use some kind of metaphor, or like our lower self would use. You are affecting this change. Remain in your zone through this entire process, okay? Remain in your zone. Just stay there for a bit longer. This doesn't mean, this isn't lingo for don't go outside of your box, okay? That's not what we mean. Some people may hear that and think we're saying don't venture out, don't do anything. No, remain in your power. Go venture out, but remain in your zone. You can still journey, but remain in your zone, dear souls. And if you want to go outside of that, hey, don't go because somebody else asked you to, or any kind of an external force was trying to goad you into doing it. Do it because you want to. If that's something you really want to do, it is free will, dear souls. Okay, you have that decision. But hold your awareness in. Hold that awareness and put that awareness in your candy store. That candy store is that energy that aligns you with love. The candy store is your strongest energy. Keep track of the key to your candy store, but don't shut it off and keep it open most of the time. Okay, dear souls, keep that candy store open. Now, this candy store we speak of, you might call the heart. Okay, align with that candy store. Align with all that is. The source flow of all that is that consciously goes. With that, we do wish you a nice day, and of course we are the central consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy, known by most of you as the Pleiades. And with that, we're going to lower it back down to our lower 3D self. Well, thank you guys. You made me feel, my higher self made me feel really incredible as always. That's always a nice little, love the little sarcasm love we got with the Pleiadians going on all the time. Yes, well, there you have it, sports fans. There it is, and there it goes. And that's a wrap from the Creative Consciousness Center of the Milky Way galaxy, also known as the Pleiades. Those cute little buttons, those cute little star buttons. I am the Iceman, Rockin' Larry Lockin', and we out. Yeah, hey. Okay, so that was a pretty intense one for me to do, so I had to record it, right? Yeah, that was really tough. That was pretty intense. They were quick, they were fast, they were rapid coming off in my head, but I guess that's what a higher self does. And sometimes, most of the time I'll use a voiceover to do these anymore, because my voice isn't what it used to be, man. I used to have a lot of compliments in my voice about, if you hear my shit from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I mean, I've always thought it sucked big time, but, I guess everybody does, but it sounds whiny to me, and, but I don't know. I've had some weird shit done to me because of my voice. I mean, or it's sent to me, and all kinds of, back in the day when, I had actually a base of people. But I quit doing this shit for 5 years till last May. I quit. Well, my wife and I got a divorce, but she wanted me to quit doing this, and so I did, because I just totally dropped out. Yeah, sometimes, man, when you get older, your voice changes. I mean, I'm going to be 50. It's where my body feels it, but I don't feel like I am inside. My spirit doesn't feel like I'm going to be 50 in August, But, yeah, so it is what it is, It is what it is. But, yeah, my voice, I was listening the other day to a lot of my shit from, after I was within 5D. When I went out on my own, and especially on my main channel, this is just one of 5 channels, and I have to explain this all the time, because I want people to understand I don't have 5 channels out of ego, believe me. The thing is, when I signed up through Google Hangout to do shows on YouTube, 100 million, 50,000, 85 years ago, aka, God, I don't know, 13 years ago, 12 and a half, 13 years ago, they gave me 5 channels. So I had all these, the Pleiadians guided me to make all these groups on Facebook. I had like 40 groups. I have a Reiki. I mean, I don't use them anymore. They're all there, though. I have regional groups. Okay, so I have a Reiki group, a Twin Flame group. I have a UK group. I have different regions of the United States, a Canadian group, Scandinavian group, Australian group, New Zealand, South Africa. I mean, I just went on a roll. I went on a roll stroll, man, creating all that stuff. Okay, and so And I've got pages, right? The page I'm working on now, trying to build, it's got about, it's just hair on. It's probably got 8,000 likes as we speak now, or 8,000 followers. But I've got that, and I married up one of my channels with that page. That's the Larry Locken 4 channel. Okay, that's the Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs Collective page. And there's a YouTube channel. I don't post a lot, although I did a show on there last night because I channeled the Sun Orbs from Alcyone last night. And I channel like 32 collectives, so different collectives. 2 from Arcturus. I've got another channel called the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels, the Larry Locken 3 channel. That one is to channel both the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels out of the 13th dimension, and then I've also got the translucent color realms from there out of the 12th. Let's see, I've got some questions coming in. I'm coming across for the first time, right? It's divine time. Sure is, because you know what, girl? This is the truth. I wasn't going to do it on this channel. I have 4 other channels, and like I explained why, because they were given to me when I started all this years ago, but I only used 2 for years. For years it was just this one and the main one, the mothership, the Pleiadian Express Productions. That's the Larry Locken 1 channel. Now my baby is the Larry Locken 5 channel. That is the Pleiadian Blue Love Healing. That one has a very popular, she's getting really popular, the Blue Orb Goddess. Yeah, look up the Blue Orb Goddess. Now sometimes I threaten to quit channeling her because I'll get into trance, and she's very provocative, okay? But all the ascended sisters I've got that I've met on here over the years, they love her to death. They think she's great. But I've had a couple guys going, dude, she's creepy. But and I don't know. You'll have to make me remember. She's blowing up, seriously. Yeah, yeah, crystals are wonderful. They're pure life. They're the essence. I always say, really, there's only 5 words that matter if you think deeply. You got vibration, you got frequency, energy, plasma, and crystal. That's pretty much life right there. You could throw love in there, but love's an energy. Your candy store is an energy. You know what I mean? So there you go. Energy, vibration, frequency. Yeah, man. And plasma. And the way I look at plasma, everything's plasma too. Plasma is like free flowing everything with a little bit of controlled stopped, or with a little bit of it's free flowing water with a little bit of solidity to it to kind of hold it in place. Sort of, maybe, or that, or maybe I smoked too much weed as a kid. I don't know. Could be one or the other, but yeah. So, and then that's the 5 page. Now, why do I call them all by my name? Okay, here, let me explain something to you too. Those names I just gave you, those were all the YouTube channel names for years and years and years till about 7 months ago. I was talking with a girl, Francesca Rose. She just wrote a book, her and David Starr. David Starr is if you don't know him, you better find out who he is. He's really great. But anyway, we were talking one night. She said, why didn't you put all that stuff all that brand under your name? And I said, God damn, girl, I know. I thought about it all those years ago, and I've been thinking about it about every 3rd day since. She's like, yeah, why don't you go change it? You can take your old name, and keep it as your YouTube handle, but change the name. I said, really? Do people know that? I thought to myself, and I bet people don't know that, the many people. You can have your handle name, and you can have your real name. So I kept that as a handle name. So, for instance, the Larry Locken 1 channel at Pleiadian Express Productions /YouTube. This one here would be the 2 channel at Pleiadian Light Grid Project, and so on and fucking so forth. And she said, you got to put your name on it. And I said, girl, don't tell me that shit, because somebody like you're an author. You give me that kind of advice, I'm liable to go do it if you're kidding me. She said, no, you got to totally go do it. So I said, okay, bye. And I'll talk to you later. And I went and did it, man. Yeah, but Francesca was like, yeah, no, you should totally go do it. And I said, okay, bye. I'm going to go do it. And so what I got in my mind when I started doing it was, I'm like, okay, I was thinking of the BBC. I used to watch on the satellite over, it's over from England. I'm thinking BBC 1, 2. And I'm thinking the Larry Locken 1 channel, 2 channel, 3 channel, 4, 5. And I said, well, what the fuck? I'm going to do it. So I put Larry Locken, #1 channel. Okay, now with the pages on Facebook, I have to use the actual word because it won't let you do a number, because I have them all as my secondary name, which you can do on your pages on there too, all kinds of little tricks. Another bitch I have about the pages on Facebook. So, years ago, the worst thing, people, you can do is follow somebody that you love. Say you want to give them some attention for their page, hit that fucking like button. Don't hit the follow button. If you hit the like button, what that's going to do is you're going to also follow them. So it's funny, you're hitting the like button and you're liking it, but that's also making you follow it. It counts as a follow too. But if you're just following it, it won't like it. Liking it is better for the statistics of the page.
It'll get it shown more in news feeds and shit. Just little tricks like that I've learned over the years. Do not, but you can't tell people that. How can you be rude and go, "Oh, well, I want you to like my page, not follow it." See how it sounds coming out? It's all about perception and it sounds shitty, right? I had Chloe, your crystals. Chloe, check out Chloe's crystals, everybody. Okay, at Chloe's crystals. Where you at, girl? Instagram, TikTok, what? Bitbop, hip hop, it don't stop till the break of dawn. Which one? You on Twitch, Tweaker, Twitter? What? You got them all. I got them all. Snapchat, UChat, WeChat, HeChat, iChat. I mean, I can keep going. Skype, Hype, Blue Sky, Red Sky, Purple Sky, Red Skies at night. Whoa. I mean, I've got threads, dreads. I need some more, but I really don't. Street cred. I mean, so, you got it these days. And when I started, it was just fucking Facebook and Twitter. We'd go from YouTube, take it from the YouTube, feed it right to Facebook. Facebook didn't have live back then. It took several years. They didn't have a live on Facebook. Twitter, I don't know if they did. We just kind of used Twitter because we laughed. Twitter back then was just like this place where middle-aged guys would trade insults and would try to sound witty with one-liners. That's how we were we sarcasmically joke about Twitter then. Okay, but that was it. That was it. MySpace had been around, but MySpace was getting in that phase where they were transferring to do what they do now, just the music. I saw Facebook come up, and I knew that they were going to take over or get rid of MySpace because MySpace had about 3 issues they wouldn't fucking work out. And I said, hey, if they don't get that shit taken care of, this new Facebook thing, it appeals more to families too. It's going to leave it in the dust. And it did, man. And still to this day, though. But for my brand, for what I do, and I know David Starr, and I've talked about this too, and other people, like, dude, unfortunately, it's still the fucking best game in town. Okay, TikTok, if they adjusted a couple things, they could be right there. Yeah, and that's another thing, the paranoia about TikTok. TikTok has weird shit, but you have to go looking for it on it. If your friends aren't doing anything weird, you're not going to see anything but the shit they do or you do. You know what I mean? You're just not going to see it. Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now, TikTok's a lot more censorship oriented than Instagram is. Yeah, I was on MySpace too. I know. You seem like one of those cool chicks that was on there. Yeah, yeah. I don't mean that insulting. I mean, yeah, yeah. You seem like you're probably pretty hip for your age and all that. Cosmic. You must be, or you wouldn't be here. But yeah. So I mean, there's all this shit I haven't even got into. I got shit I don't even need to use. Lemon eight. Lemon eight's there. Blue Sky and Threads are kind of almost exactly alike. They got a little difference. But see, I would like to get a show going where people would come on and I could bring them on. And I could just send you a link and you click it from your phone. But I want to talk to folks who use this stuff socially. They're just for their entertainment. They enjoy talking with people and doing it. I do sometimes too, but I use it for my brand mainly. And I've got so much going on with editing. I don't have any assistants anymore. I used to have a ton of people that would help me, but I quit for 5 years, right? So I'm just kind of winging it here. But you, you know I'm just kind of winging it. So, but I'd like to talk to people that use that shit socially, right? Like, what do they like? You like Lemonade? What do you like about it? You like Threads? You like Blue Sky? Oh, and there's others like that I post shit to, but like Tumblr and Reddit and Quora. Those are okay. Twitch is okay. Twitch is weird. I had my settings right, but for like months and months and months, and I bitched and bitched to them. I'd go on air and bitch about Twitch. And I would never call a female that word, but there is one bitch. I thought it was Twitch, and because I couldn't get my shit taped, and I adjusted the settings. Normally, a format like that, if they tape your shit, they'll tape your shit when you do a show. That you can just stream it for people to hear you. But I did figure it out. Thing about Twitch is you can't upload shit to it. Thing about Lemonade is you can only upload something for 1 minute, and that's it. You can't even put a link to something on there. Okay? Now, at Threads and Blue Sky, you can't upload anything to it, but you can do links. Here's the thing. Each one of these things, from my perspective, have about two or three issues they could fix and be perfect. And I don't know why they do. They're different with all of them, but some are the same. What they have to do with is character limitations on posts, on comments. They need to increase it quite a bit. And for God's sake, Pinterest too, which, Pinterest, I don't have much interest. I have little interest, but I have a whole lot of disinterest in Pinterest. But I use it and I like it for some things. What I don't understand is they in the beginning, they're real big on cooking and recipes, why you can't go live from there. I think it'd be perfect if you could go live from Pinterest. And I can't explain it, but I wish they'd clean up. They have a lot of good shit on there, but I wish they'd clean it up a little bit. It looks like if you could imagine going somewhere online and it looks like a fucking cluttered store or a cluttered flea market. It's really just, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but they're different. if they had somebody that really could take them seriously, man, they'd have to fix a few things. And, and that would be great. But some of these things have two or three fucking issues, man. And I wonder, what the hell are they, a front or, because I used to be a cop for a while. I was a gangbanger as a kid, and then I woke up one day and I was a cop. I've had a weird life. Okay, so I don't know why they don't fix these. And they're just little. Then I got to thinking, okay, could it be a bandwidth issue shit? Could it be some kind of, and I'm thinking, fuck, in this day and age, on something that big, I can't see it, man. And I don't know why they can't let you go live for like an hour or something. TikTok only lets you do, TikTok only lets you go like, 10 minutes if you don't have fucking a lot of subscribers. That's another thing. I should have got in on them when they first started, but I bought into the hit paranoia, and fuck it, I really wasn't into doing this shit at the time anyway. But man, I went on there, man. I found two weird things one time on TikTok, but I had to dig and fucking look around. When you just go to do your thing with your friends and on your profile, you ain't gonna see shit on TikTok. And all I really saw was, dude, it was this guy in a goddamn yellow. All he had on was yellow swimming trunks and a yellow rubbery weird mask with horns like some kids would wear, and a broom. And he was running through the house just jumping and going, making monkey sounds, oh, and running. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he got on a table and did it too. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then that was the only weird thing. The other thing I'm not going to go into. The other thing I kind of defended a little bit. It was about Nutter Butter cookies and then making weird, these younger kids making weird commercials that were freaking people out. And I was just telling people, you're fucking old and you don't understand youth. Okay, weren't you young once? I was. I may not like it, and it was okay, but I'm an old fuck though. I'm not even that fucking get off the lawn guy. I ain't even that dude. I ain't even that dude. I represent for these kids. Fuck, man, they're older souls than us. They're smarter. I was just here to just fucking try to bust my ass to pave the way. I did the dirt so they wouldn't have to. I did the dirt. Even a generation between us now has done the dirt so they didn't have to. Okay? The Blu-rays did the dirt so the Indigos didn't have to. Okay? We had 1 foot kept down here, and they're completely in the cosmos, and that's the way we want it to be. Okay? Well, that's the best way to work it for all of us. Well, yeah. Oh man, I haven't been keeping up with you. People are people, yes, people are people, and I gotta say, and why should it be that we should get along so awfully? Has anybody ever thought of that? God, I don't know. I can't remember saying that. Pet Shop Boys, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? The young ones have too much wisdom. Oh, they have yeah, they don't have too much. They have, well, yeah, and then see what's going on right now is about every 10 years this is flipping. Not every generation, but every half generation, these kids are getting another upgrade. They started in the early 90s, really. Okay, that was like the first wave. Then about 2003, another one, 13. Give or take a year, right? And there's always some early bloomers that come along in the years past. You had the Blu-rays and the Indigos, but just like I did a show the other day through consciousness, well, JJ Activations was talking about this a little, and she said Periwinkle kept coming into her mind about some shit, and she's great if you ever heard her. But that was all she said. She said, I am going to leave that alone for a while. But then, because I had come into my mind, too, in the days before leading up to me hearing her say that. And so then I sat with it, and I thought, what the fuck? Then it came to me. You talk about the Indigos and the Blu-rays, right? They supposedly came right after each other, right? Nope, there was a 4-year incarnation that came in between them. But they told me that this is the one era where there's nobody from outside of it that was born that is. Like some Indigos that were born in the Indigo generation, a few of them I know are Blu-rays and they know it. And I've even met I met a Blu-ray, growing up in there, and he was an Indigo. So that happens every now and then, right? If that's not solved, but this, what I'm about to tell you is the Periwinkle kids, the Periwinkle children, you had to have been born between January 1, 77 and January 8th of 2001, of 1981. So you had that 4 years in a week, 77 to 81. If you're born in there, you're a Periwinkle. Now, the 81, 82, 83 Indigos, those are kind of a combination, though, of Crystal Rainbow kids, too. You call it, that 81, 82, 83 is like a post-Periwinkle. They still got a tiny bit of Blu-ray in them, actually, that's carried over through, and they've got, they've got mostly Indigo in them, too. But that's another one I'm going to tackle, because I'm real specific and try to be about stuff. It's when I teach in class about dimensions to people, okay, about how dimensions work. They're endless. But I only use 5 through 13 right now and 14, 15 sometimes when I talk about dimensions to people. Well, I touch on the third and the fourth, but you know what I mean? And that's only for scholastic purposes. But I remind them they're endless. But I'm talking on what we deal with here now. Okay, so I'm getting off track now. That's a talk I did on one of the channels, I forget. But I've also sat down with a lot of people and explained this to them. Like almost in a classroom setting one time. It was weird. So the crystal rainbow children, right? Then you're talking about 81, 82, 83. Now, but the crystal children by themselves, that kind of an energy that came in with us Blu-rays too, but they were just a little more subtle than we were. Okay, Blu-rays were kind of boisterous and depressed and got involved in I got to experience it too. I don't know why. It was cool, but it sucked. You know what I mean? It was a time I could never forget as long as I could remember. Yeah, Chloe, you seem probably like you are a crystal rainbow, indigo blend. You know, you're kind of in that middle. I don't think you have. Yeah, you might have a tad of Blu-ray too in you, but I don't think so. Maybe, who knows? It's all speculative, though. You know what I mean? But there's terms for this shit in the mainstream too. When they talk about the millennials and Gen X, it's funny because there's a tweener group in there too called the Xennials that are between, and they're a tweener group in between. They fit what the Periwinkle kids were, and I did a show on them. It's on. I think it's on Pleiades Express Productions, but I also have it on the Blue Channel, and because I channel a lot of blue entities. You know, like the Blue Orb Goddess is popular, the Blue Flame Goddess, the Little Blue Guru is lovable. If you ever haven't checked out the Little Blue Guru, I have people mail in questions to my email or on Facebook or on here, and he answers the questions, man. I mean, it's just like going to consciousness with him. And this guy contacted me. It was weird one day. I thought it was my dad talking to me, and it wasn't. It was the Little Blue Guru. But he called me son, and he sounded like my dad's voice. I take care of my dad now. He's elderly, but I thought I heard dad outside my bedroom door. And nope, it was the fucking Little Blue Guru because I wanted to do a blue meditation. I'm not a meditation guy giver too much. I have some out there. I have one my wife wouldn't let me post for years. It's called Honoring the Divine Feminine Goddess and Massaging Her with Star Energies. It's 8 minutes long. Okay, it's legendary. Thousands of people love it, but my wife made me quit. My ex-wife made me quit posting it. She said, too provocative. She said, I watched you get up out of a trance out of bed and go over to the computer and do it, and you wouldn't acknowledge me. And I said, because I didn't hear you. I don't even remember doing the goddamn thing. And she said, look, this is what you taped. I said, the Pleiadians put me up to it. They really did. It was one of the only few times I've ever done a meditation in complete fucking not knowing trance. The other time they put me up to it, well, twice, was that funny Insomniac Stalker series I've got about the guy from Pleiades who gets weird and bugged out in town when he hears people talk about insomnia, that they have it. He gets so worried for them that he starts stalking them. It's really epic. If you're not a starseed, you'll creep you out. If you are, you'll laugh your ass completely off. I know Francesca Rose almost had a conniption listening to it. Yeah, there's 2 parts to it. I put it on Instagram all together here recently, but yeah, man, I get really nutted out, and I don't remember doing either one. Now, the first one I did, I had somebody with me. Now, check this out. I was offered $100 to do a third one. I couldn't, because it's through consciousness. So there's only been four out of the about 600 contacts I've had with the Pleiadians that haven't been just complete consciousness, awake telepathy. Those 3 were 3 of them, being funny and put me up to that. And then that meditation, why they had me do that, it helped a lot of people, so that must have been, it's only 8 minutes long. But, I mean, it's got a lifetime of loving knowledge in it, I guess. But yeah, it's provocative, and I hadn't listened to the whole thing through ever, like only a minute or two until like last year. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of know why my ex-wife would have been like, okay, it is provocative, but there was no swearing or cussing in it. I didn't refer to anything like that. It was just when I started talking about massaging, the root chakra and all that shit with the star energies. I think that flaked her out a little bit, but I don't remember doing it, so I blame it on the Pleiadians. They're a good people to use as a good excuse. In a dream, I've had one dream with them, and that was when I met Fusacia, the pink Pleiadian. I've got that collective called the Pleiade Girls, and they want people to channel them. Nobody's taking me up on it. The Blue Orb Goddess is one of them. There's 10 of them. 8 really that you can use. Okay? And here I am talking into my fucking other phone, you guys. This is how I am. I'm sitting here talking. The phone's going to hear me is over here, and I'm sitting here to the side. Talking on the phone I'm trying to chat on, which I'm just spacing out here. Oh, my other channels, hon, I can tell you what they are, and let me tell you what they are, okay? So you can go back and listen to this. Okay, first off, right off the bat, We've got my name, Larry Locken. Okay, the Larry Locken 1 channel, the number 1. I'm going to spell it LARRYLOCKEN 1, number 1 channel at Pleiadian Express Productions /YouTube. Either one of those two things will help you find it, though. You just type that in. Well, down that one, well, it's funny, it won't on this next one I'm about to tell you. This one here, the 2 channel at Pleiadian Light Grid Project, but you're here, so there's no need for that. The 3 channel is the Larry Locken 3 channel at Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels /YouTube. That's where I do the 2 collectives, the Arcturian Translucent Color Realms out of 12 and the one out of 13, the Angels. Okay, so at number 4, God, I feel like we're counting down the top 40 here, right? Yeah, I feel like Rick Dees or Ryan Seacrest or the guy that did it best, Casey Kasem. Number 4 is the Larry Locken 4 channel at, and I'm still talking in that goddamn phone. What's wrong with me? I must be a weird Pleiadian. The Larry Locken 4 channel at Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs. Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs. And check out that page, please, guys, if you did me one favor. I have pages to all this shit I'm talking about on Facebook, but Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs Collective. Yeah, it's hot right now. Okay, it's kicking ass. And because the reason is there's all these colors popping up on Earth now, and I don't just do orb pictures. I do light pictures and light rays and all kinds of shit that people send in. And you can send in. I count on you to help me with that page because you send me in and I post them. I would love to have people post themselves on there, but you can't do it with a page. You have to be an admin. You have to be an admin, and they used to have a place where you could send a message to, and then you add it to them. But fuck all that. You just send it to me, or go to the page, and if you're commenting on something, post your pictures in there, and I'll put them up there. But I'll give you credit. I never take credit for shit that's not mine. I'm just a conduit. I'm here to help you. If you want to come on my show and talk about your business, your website, I'm just a conduitive. There's people like Bridget Rao and Lionel Anderson, and they do totally different things. They started with me and shit, right? Okay. Or I helped Lionel along quite a bit, and Bridget started out with me, and she's huge. Divine Essentials, check her out, right? So I'm just a conduit. That's all I am. I'm not out to get big. I just have all the shit formatted, so it's there. Okay, I'm just a fucking conduit. That's it, man. I don't monetize my shit or anything. All right, so the only thing I'm getting out of it is the thrill that you got something out of it. And I know any other motherfucker that would tell you that in your life, I would be like, fuck that. That sounds weird. But no, I'm telling you the truth. I mean, it's how it is. Fuck, ask around about me. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get some interesting viewpoints. But yeah, the rainbows are, yeah, man. I'll tell you what, 2012 was the first time I'd ever seen a double rainbow. Now, I've never seen one in real life like this again. I saw 3 of them that summer, and they were all double rainbows. One was a triple rainbow, and you guys, what's weird, you guys, that year was weird. What's weird, you guys, there wasn't a fucking raindrop or a cloud within forever that you could see with the eye. And both times, all 3 times I saw those. And it was in the summer of 2012, all 3 of them. That was it. It was here where I live in Oregon on the coast. The coast host with them, your host with the most from coast to coast, giving up all the toast, giving you coolness, hotness, and everything you wantedness. The reflection of perfection, the number 1 selection, the man who knows how to get down in the back of the shack where it's all at in the city with the nitty gritty. And usually I'm looking damn pretty. So, all that bullshit being aside, yeah, did you really, Chloe? That's so cool. Because I still, how you see something and then you wonder if you really did? It's like with all the contacts I've had in real life contacts with UFOs and aliens and shit and everything, and how face to face with them, it's still surreal. And then it could happen to you just on a day, and then all of a sudden, you're like, wow, did that really happen? And it did, and it happens again. What I would tell people is I got a lot of people that have always told me, that are into our community, our New Age Lightworker Starseed, Crystal Rainbow Metaphysical Healing Center, New Age Community Church. Yeah, that community we all love, which we're part of. I can give it a bad time because I love it with all my heart. But it seems to me like I've lost my train of thought, the triple rainbow one time ever. No, I had something I really wanted to say, though. Maybe this will spawn mind the rainbows. Yeah, 2012 was an interesting year, but it was only a halfway. But 2012, what people thought was 2012 was really 2030. 12 was a halfway point in a 36-year harmonic convergence. So really what they were perceiving, and it's not any fucking thing. that's going to end the world. I mean, look, people, I got to tell you something funny about it. I got a call from my school. When 2012 happened, the day of it, come on. Come on, baby. Here, we'll promote David Francesca's book then. There you go. How about that? We're going to span out everything for a reason. Yep. Come on, baby. Come on. There you go. Your higher power, accessing your divine gifts. Two souls I love to death. And I don't suck up to anybody, man. Fuck, dude. They could have all the groupies they want, but they're not like that. They're cool, and I'm not that guy that is. I just love them to death, like a little brother and sister. But so I get this fucking call on 12, or was it 12:21? I get this call okay, sorry, let me slow down. It was the day before. I get this call from my son at school. He's going to be 25 this month, and he said, Dad, oh my God. I said, Kyron, what the fuck's going on? And he said, Dad, they're talking about killing people. People are talking about killing people and bringing guns to school tomorrow, and that the world's going to end and all this shit. And he knew better, but he was like, fuck, man, fuck this. I don't want to be around here if this is going to happen. So, okay, fine. We get off the phone. Okay, about an hour later, ring, 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 ring. It's an automated call from the goddamn school superintendent, talking about telling people not to freak out over 2012, and no, school is not going to be canceled tomorrow, and it's not going to be the end of the world. And I'm thinking, wow, man, some shit really must have went down. But yeah, it was, yeah. 2012 was trippy. The key year, if you were awakening, then though, 2014 and into about mid-15, kind of off and off only in that 15, that 14 year was a son of a bitch for shifts. We all went through some nasty shifts. One of my homegirls did 25 shows with Raquel Toombs. She's a really great lady. She's out of Canada, Vancouver, BC. Raquel went through the most hellacious. Now, and keep in mind, I've talked to like 20,000 people because of being on the radio with N5D and then here, and her ascension symptoms were the worst ever I'd seen. I've seen them all. I've heard about them all. But this girl, she was in such bad shape. She's all, God, I'm afraid. She told me one night I had to turn my head and laugh because I was trying to talk her through this. And she says, God damn it, Larry, I think they're going to pick me up soon. And I said, who is? And she said, the zoo. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, I'm fucking morphing into an animal. This hurts so bad everywhere. It's popping out of my neck and shit. And she was a strong woman. She is, if you know she is. And I'm like, I had to turn my head because I think I spit something out of my mouth laughing, because just you don't ever hear that commonly that the zoo's coming to get you. So, but man, dude, she'd sit there and do telekinesis for like fucking 30 hours straight because she was hurting so bad. Yeah, would you? Yeah, Chloe. Yeah. Yeah, you remember going through all that shit then too, hon? Yeah. Fuck, man, Raquel thought she had shit coming. I mean, I'd hear her on the phone cracking her fucking head and cranium, like popping it. And I thought, God damn, girl, I wish I could do that shit. And keep in mind, this girl is one badass. She isn't anybody you'd want to fuck with at all. But another thing about her, only true walking I can't say that I know of. Now, I'm sure there's a ton of them. I just haven't went there with a lot of people, and I didn't have to with her either. But she's a total walk-in. She's not a wanderer. She's a walk-in. She got replaced, and she knows it. Okay, you don't. I'm not going to go into what it was, but trust me. And the way she did this, you don't quit doing this overnight and not feel any kind of repercussions with what she quit and how she was doing it. You don't feel any repercussions now. That's not even possible. That's not even possible to not feel it. Yeah, it was pretty hardcore. And she just stopped overnight and felt nothing. And yeah, no, that don't happen. I believe her, but that's not usually how it goes with that shit, especially using it the way she did. But anyway, yeah, man, it was a crazy time. Okay, so what happened is then we get into about 2016, in late 16, and there was a fucking lull, a total lull, not only in really shifts and stuff, but nothing fucking happening in our community till about 20. Till about the time actually David Starr started coming. He's the one that kind of revived him. I was watching him for a while. I'm like, I don't know. And I said, well, this kid's got some good stuff. This kid could go somewhere. And yeah, dude, I kept my eye on him because I wasn't really on here much. And I'm like, yeah, there's some hope. And he really has been a lot. But then it wasn't just him. It's everybody now that woken. But we were in a fucking lull between late 16 till like 20. there was a 3 to 4 year period. It was just fucking dead in this community, seriously. And those shifts back then, and they stopped being so hard about late 15. Somebody said they felt one, and I wasn't really paying attention much, like in 19 and 20. A couple of people I've heard that around late 19, early 20. And I said, yeah, I think you're maybe the COVID anxiety coming on, maybe. But I'll tell you what was a motherfucker, and was maybe even worse in the way it was than any of those shifts we had back then. This last one we just had in November. The energy from that son of a bitch. Dude, the aliens were here they were living with me, for fuck's sake, man. It was that open, the dimension. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I had Oxford here from Vega, and I wondered who the fuck he was for a while, and till I remembered, I was getting pissed off at him, like being here. I didn't know who he was, and then I remembered him, and he smiled. But, and, and the ones I already know, the Aqua Ray Collective, and those two goofy dolphins I channel out of Sirius sometimes. I've never put them on tape though. They're kind of weird. They're kind of weird, but they're cool. I love them to death. They're dolphins, but their humor is a little bit, even for my lame ass, a little bit weird. Anyway, so they were like, so the energies were just, and of course during those shifts, it's always late at night when it's worse. It starts about 11:30. It comes on, and then till about 6 in the morning. But in those peak hours between two, it's really like something. It was like the shift I was going through back in, 14, 15, 12. Well, I had I first had my contacts in late December 10, but I don't know. This is something one person thought they had seen it. Nobody ever saw back then. I don't watch a lot of TV, but check it out. When I was raising my kids by myself at the time. They were still in junior high and high school. I was going through this shit with contacts with aliens out in the woods by my house. And okay, so late at night, about 11:30, if you had your television on. Now, I want people to follow me, and I've said this, I've talked about this probably 1,000 times. They're getting sick of hearing the story, but okay, so from about 11:30 till 6 in the morning. And this was really only on network TV, okay? Like I'm talking about the CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, right? The channels you can get over the air. But they're also on your cable network too. So it didn't matter this wouldn't matter if you were watching that shit on cable or if you were just watching it with an antenna. So that wasn't what it was. But it was only those local channels that was having this. These fucking faces would pop in and out of the background, like I think it was Letterman then instead of Colbert, whoever the fuck's on all these other channels. I think Conan was still on then. And then it would start after the news with those channels, or with those. And then whatever the fuck was on there afterward, paid programming, whatever, till about 6 in the morning during this shit. Faces popping out, and the TV would do this subtle warp. But, if you weren't in tune with it, you wouldn't notice it. And I even think if you were in tune, you wouldn't. But if I showed it to you, you'd be like, oh, fuck. But it was really weird. And it'd be just the vibrations of it would be fucking with everything. Dude, Chloe, do you really, sweetie? Then you're my girl. Because I tell you what, I don't watch TV either. Oh, you mean that. Okay, you don't mean what I'm talking about seeing that shit on the screen. But I've seen it on my phones, entities. I've even wiped down my phone, showed my dad, and then they come back and I'm like, Dad, look, hey, they're there. And he's like, yeah, that's weird. But then one night when this was going on, and it was weird because my dad's never played watching TV. I didn't I wasn't taking care of him then. Okay, I owned my own home for 24 years, but I sold it when me and my ex-wife moved up north, and then we got a divorce, and then, just figured, once my parents got him to sell his estate and shit. But listen, my dad calls me, and he said, turn it to Channel 5, and I said, oh, okay, what are you doing up so late? He's all or nothing, and I said, okay, well, what's going on? And I turned it there, and it was this weird fucking, it looked like somewhere on another planet with these two aliens just sitting there. It was really fucking weird, and that's how my dad described it to me. I'm like, Dad, what the hell? And half hour later, he's still up, it's still on. He said, I said, Dad, you know what? I'm going to fucking call KOBY, I'm going to call that TV station or get a hold of the cable or some shit. I'm going to call somebody about this. I think it was a cable company I called, and I told the dude, he's like, what do you think it is? And I said, well, what do I think it is? And I told him actually what I thought it was, and he's, oh, no. I'm like, yeah, but it was on there until the next morning. But that's just one time it happened, that every night the vibrations, and I don't know about this last time because I never turned a fucking TV on during it, so during that month, just this last month of November. But I had shit coming through my phone. I'll tell you what the weirdest thing I saw, and then I figured out who they were and channeled them. Procyon. I have two of my phone, well, one tablet has a big giant orb on the screen cover. There's cities in these orbs, people. There are cities, there are lives. Everything is teeming with life. I mean, Jesus Christ, a raindrop probably has a solar system in him. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. They were. That's exactly what somebody told me. Because I didn't get a good vibe from them yet. I'm protected, and they never did anything to me, but they were showing their asses to me. You know what I'm saying? I've only had one dealings with them physically, and I woke up in the middle of the night and told them to get the fuck out of here. I was in a REM state, and it was like 2 nights before I first had contact with the Pleiadians. They must have known, and I saw them in my room talking electronically in a creepy voice, and they looked like big lizards, and they had like fucking lasers on them. And I just jumped up and said, get the fuck out of here, and that was it. But one time I had a psychic attack. I know that because I woke up with fucking 3 lines on my neck, 3 on each side of my cheeks. And like, I know my kitty cats would sleep with me, but dude, they wouldn't. Dude, they couldn't do it that perfectly, nor would they. But that would be somebody who made the cats guy. You fuck the cats. You got 3 perfect lines on each. Yeah, one of them's the next Pablo Picasso. So, but that I was going through some shit with some people on the internet with about a show and stuff, and so that was the only time I've dealt with it. I think that was an attack from them. But the reptilian thing, I swear that's who they were coming through the screen. Their energy is really weird. Electronic, but sometimes, but see, they're not always bad. You also, if they're human looking or whatever, they come through to try to talk to you too. If guides want to talk to you, they'll try to get a hold of you by different ways. They have senses of humor and personalities too. Like I said, I channel 32 collectives, and they've asked other people, or they asked me to ask other people that they're open to that, and I'd like to do it to see if anybody could channel these people. I've got feminine energies, some male, masculine energies, and I've also got some ones that are kind of neutral that I'm not sure what they are. Well, only one like that, but I'm kind of sure what they are, but it really doesn't matter because we're all unisexual beings in the higher dimensions, right? Right. Okay. So, there's the Pleiade girls. There's too many of them to name. The Blue Rider, which is really Metatron when he was younger. That's another thing. Metatron and Michael, fucking dudes, come to me. And I worked with Metatron sometimes. But Michael's was a little older on the block. I don't really, he just says hi. I don't, I just look up to him. I don't really fuck with him too much. But they came to me recently, and they said, look, we want you to do a series on us when we were younger and we were at the academy, and because we grew up together and we went to the academy together. I want you to talk about our stories before I was an angel, when I just flew around an orb and he was the Blue Rider. Can you do that? And I said, sure, okay, this is great, but what can you guys give me some ideas? And before they just fucking patted me on the back, literally, and said, you'll figure it out. And I said, gee, thanks. And then they were gone. So I've got one episode, but it's on the Pleiadian Blue Love and Healing. It's called Blue Orb and Blue Rider, Adventures of Milky and Medi, Early Days. Yeah, they're sitting there. It's a conversation I channeled between the two of them. Now they start bitching about somebody, some human, some race somewhere, and I almost thought they were talking about Earth humans, but they don't specify that. But the only time you ever hear Michael dumbfounded, he was just like Metatron was too. They were like, why do they think that way? And Michael's like, I've often wondered it myself. You got me. But it was more in depth than that. They kind of rib each other and stuff, but. Yeah, they were like, Michael's like, God, man, you got me. I had wondered it myself. It was about, it was about Earth humans thinking. Metatron said, I wonder, have you ever wondered why even though there are time travelers, why they think they are, then they would come back and try to fix something. So if something was that fucked up, or time travelers would have to come back from your existence to fix something, how could they still be there if it was that drastic? And if they were okay, like they were, coming back, they're the future society, why would they come back and mess with something? Obviously, they're doing okay in advance. Why would they waste their time? So they were kind of having that philosophical talk, and he, and then Metatron just said, you know what I'm saying, Blue Orb? And Michael's like, I know what you're saying. I've often wondered it myself. And then he went into a big spill about it. So, yeah, I was in trance channeling that one, too. But there's going to be another episode to come. The next one's going to be a little bit trippier. They go to a solar system where everybody's acting the same, and nobody will talk to them, but tell them to talk to the central consciousness or collective consciousness. And Metatron's like, well, this ain't no fucking collective consciousness I've ever seen. This looks like a control game. And Michael's like, yeah, this is weird. I wonder what the hell's the deal with this. So they figure it out, but then, the plans get foiled a little bit because the good old their buddy, the blue dragon, shows up, flying around and buzzing around. Michael's like, what the hell is he doing here? Get him over here. I don't. Last thing we need is him buzzing around, messing things up. Because they were trying to figure some shit out. So I'm working on that. They're trying to solve what the hell's going on and who's behind that. They're time traveling. They're interdimensionally traveling. You know, just like the heaven thing's bullshit. All it was Michael telling Lucifer to take a walk. So Lucifer, Arcturus had came here about 1 billion years ago. Okay, way before the Pleiadians did. One incarnation of Earth. Arcturus came here. So Lucifer, they were all high-up military guys at the time. Okay, Michael was an admiral. Michael wasn't the highest in command yet, but he was close. Okay, he got there, but this was before. And so Lucifer was a couple ranks lower, and he was the captain of the mission to come down here to Earth. Okay, well, what ended up happening was he wouldn't fucking return calls back to Arcturus. He wouldn't. He was flaking the command off, and he started fucking with people's DNA here and doing weird experiments, and they were getting wind of it back up there. And so they decided to replace his ass. So Michael and Jehovah had to come down here. And Michael actually was in the off. Michael had to come down and kind of take a couple steps down so he could come and be a captain and clean the mess up here. So he did, and they told Lucifer to take a walk, and they had some exchange of some words. Lucifer called him a kiss ass to the company, and Michael turned around and handed his watch to Jehovah and started folding up his fists. And he said, we've exchanged phony pleasantries working together over the years, and yeah, if you want to fight, I'd like to oblige you. It's not me typically, but yeah. So and Lucifer just walked away, and he took 30% of the soldiers with him, though, the troops, and they just went off and did their own thing. And fuck, he's not even relevant anymore. But that's the whole story behind that. So Michael had to send him walking because he was fucking. But then Earth after that fucking blew itself up. But then it came back again, and there's been millions of incarnations of Atlantis and Lemuria. The last one that happened ended in the Great Deluge because it was a nuclear war. Atlantis hit in Lemuria. You can still see the outback for where the southwestern tip of where Lemuria was. That stretched all the way through Hawaii and over here onto the west coast of the USA, Oregon, Washington, that tip in Northern California. Not where it slides down, but just the top tip. So in return, Lemuria bombed the fuck out of them. And this biblical story about Noah's Ark, there was a fucking biodome there that took a bunch of people out of here and some DNA to restart the Earth, and a couple of and a few animals, but DNA blueprints to restart them. It wasn't some guy in a goddamn lean-to, like you see in a movie where they're in Vietnam or something, on a lean-to floating to the other side of the river with a stick, and like every, 2 giraffes and 2 elephants and 2, fucking wildebeest and whatever the hell he had at the time. I mean, standing on the fucking, can you just imagine? They're all on a big giant surfboard together. Yeah. I mean, can you just see it now? Yeah. Oh yeah, Lemuria. Yes, of course, hon. Yeah. Definitely. In Lemuria, and it's funny because Hawaii, there's some remaining parts of Hawaii, like the West Coast, but Hawaii was a mountain peak of snow then, if you can imagine Hawaii being like the destination to go to ski and shit. What was in the Lemurian civilization kept to themselves, okay, they had about 40% of the planet, okay, but here's the deal, and they knew Atlantis was warfaring. Atlantis had their area, and Atlantis, got islands and shit all, but they didn't fuck with Lemuria, okay, they kind of, you stay on your side, I stay on mine. Lemuria's big power military was their Coast Guard. That's all they needed because they didn't go fucking around anywhere else, okay? They had everything there. There was no reason at all to go visit anywhere, so that was it. But they had the technology too that Atlantis did, but they were peaceful. They just had it because, they had it because they knew who their neighbors were, you know what I'm saying? It's like the Pleiadians. They have the top elite military, but you'd never know it. Astral traveling to the planets, you'd never know it. They don't show it or flaunt it, but you know why they have it still? Well, it served them really well. It's a deterrent. But the problem is when you get people on Earth that are into that kind of shit, though, they like the idea of maybe needing to use it. See, I've got a Pleiadian mentality. You would have all, if you ever had all, you'd have all that shit just so you would never need to use it. Like being prepared for a disaster and having supplies. You have it so you'll never need to use it. You're putting that energy out and forcing it. What happened when the enemy came in, honey? Are you finishing your thought there, Chloe? Okay. Yeah, they were ignorant to what they were having. Oh, yeah, hey, you just described the whole thing with the Lyrans getting their shit all blown up, too, because they were ignorant and let let the reptilians come in and they try to do business with them and let the reptilians move on some of their places. And they were warned. Our elders were warned about them. And look at how they destroyed destroyed Lyra, and that ended up in a war for 1,000,000,000 years. Yeah, man. I mean, but they let him in, dude. You let him in. You can't do it, man. You have to, dude. You have to. It's like this. I mean, I'm all for love and we're protecting each other. But hey, man, you got yours, I got mine. You know what I'm saying? For the funky time, as the song would go. You get yours, cause I got mine for the funky time. It's really monkey time, but I don't use that word because it's an African American doing it. I don't use that word in any kind of reference to. I've worked real hard to get in tight with the Black Panther Party as a journalist and shit. And I don't like two things I don't fucking tolerate are aggressions against African Americans, any minority, or women. I have done everything for women's rights, but I'm done with one issue because it's obvious to me they don't agree with me on it. Okay, they don't agree with. They're not pro-choice. Otherwise, they would show it at the voting booth, and that's cool. That's fine. That's a woman's choice. I was so naive with that. I thought that the majority of women were. So, like, I marched for that and shit, but they're not. Yeah. Well, I am a little bit of a racist. There is one race I'm going to come clean on here that I really don't care for, and this is it's ironic when you hear it. It's the white race, and I'm white. I'm Scandinavian, like 75% Scandinavian. I'm about as white as you can get. Okay, but I really don't care for a lot of white people at all. They don't have any soul or passion. Not all. That's generalizing, I know, but here's the deal. Let's forget about the real racist assholes that are so obvious. Put them to the side. But then there's another percentage of the rest that's left that's complicit because they don't think about it and they think that we should all just get along. And that fucking slavery was a long time ago. It wasn't that fucking long ago. In the span of time, it wasn't that fucking long ago. What the hell kind of shit is that? Or, hey, I never owned a slave. My family never owned a slave. What an insensitive thing to say. What a stupid, ignorant thing to say. Or how about this? I got a lot of black friends. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, I know. So, so what? I mean, yeah. Well, and the only thing is I would say that because I love them. But most people are, when you get somebody saying that, it's usually they're coming from kind of a conservative viewpoint. So, you know where they stand. Or yeah. I never owned any slaves. Or I love this one. This is people, I swear to God I've heard this tons of times. Well, their own people sold them to us. Their own people. Oh, really? You know what? If I was a lawyer, hey, would that be okay if I used that as an excuse for I was representing a guy who was fucking scumbag that was child trafficking? Oh, yeah, well, you know what? Guess what, though, Judge, Your Honor? Their parents sold them, though. It was their parents that did it, so it's okay, right? It's okay, right? I mean, you see what I mean? Fuck. Yeah, right. That's about as stupid as saying, oh, their own people sold them to us. Their own people. Yeah, and, okay, and what? And then what? I mean, that's like saying I think, therefore I am. Okay, and what? You bought them, though, but you see, I say, but you know what? Good old Leroy, you still bought them, though, didn't you, boy? I mean, you still bought them. Okay. Yeah, that would be the same. Actually, it'd be worse because, when you're talking about a child trafficking case, it's disgusting. You're usually talking about one kid or a group of kids. When you talk about fucking the African American thing that happened, you're talking about genocide. Okay, you're talking about a fucking genocide, people. Their DNA was fucked with. Their names were taken from them. Their culture was taken from them, people. You fucking stupid white people. And it stays in their innate. I don't care how rich or big time they are now, some of them. Dude, they've got that innate in them. It's in their fucking DNA what happened to them, you creeps. I mean, think about that. There's nothing we can really do about it, but you can be in tune with it. No, don't waste all your energy on it, ain't what I'm saying. But, dude, I know and understand it. Really. Dude, we got a lot. I'm weird. I'm for reparations for them. I'm totally for it. Totally for women's rights. I'm for drug legalization. I'm a fucking old school fucking crazy liberal from the word go, but I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-NRA. I think they're the biggest bunch of douchebags. But I'm not against people having a weapon. That's fine. That's nobody's business. I'm not too fond of people like building up an artillery and they're wanting to itch to use it. You just get the feeling that they just love to get to. They love to get to legally itch it. They love to even cross that line. I'm like, fuck, dude. Dude, I've been shot at and I've had to draw before. I don't like it. It ain't fucking fun, man. Shit. Wait till you stare down the bottom of a gun. I'm telling you, son, it ain't no fun staring straight down a 44. I'm going to tell you right now because I've lived it. And the song even says it. Well, I'm telling you, son, it ain't no fun staring straight down a 44. It isn't, people. I mean, believe me, I can tell you that what you're thinking it would be, it is. It's not that fun. I know you're thinking, fuck, dude, that would suck. Yeah, it isn't cool, man. You got to really use your head if you're in that situation. Yeah, the Native Americans, I always say too, Chloe, that the three worst things that ever happened to this fucking shore, okay? The genocide against Native Americans, genocide against African Americans, and I was telling an African American this guy I used to shows with, I said, put those to the side. I said, look, then the third worst thing that ever hit the shore waves, he's all, what's that? And I said, fucking white organized Christianity. And he's all, fucking amen. He's all, amen, brother, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got a hood pass for that one. But no, really, yeah, man, really, those are the three worst things. The top two, of course, is the genocide of those two races, but then you throw in that white organized religion that came over here. This is a religion that killed a man, or tried to. He survived it. They killed a man and then named a religion after him. Do you see that? They tried to kill him, thought he was dead, and so they named a fucking religion after him, too. The guy that never wanted a goddamn religion named after him. It's probably the last thing he would have wanted. Was them to start a cult over him. I'm like, what the fuck? Who are these people? Yeah, no, it probably would have weirded even him out. He probably would have been like, what the fuck, and ran away. Yeah, it's all Christ was all about a consciousness, and it's the true teachings. Dude, fuck, these people are hung up on the man that he was. Who cares what he did in his private life? I don't give a fuck what the man did in his private life. That's his business. It's his teachings and his words and shit. Okay, I'm not gonna get hung up on him. I mean, he's probably cool, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, he does his thing, I do mine, But I mean, his words and his teachings were great, and private guy, but loved humanity, would wash your feet, humble as hell. But dude, I'm sure I'm sure he was like, oh, you tried to kill me, now you're gonna start a religion over me. I mean, think about how weird that would be. That'd probably trip anybody out, but him, I'd be like, what in the hell? Okay, they think I'm dead, and now they're starting a religion after me. Okay. You can't make this shit up, people. It's a sick fucking world, but the light is shining, and it's all about the love. And with people like us, it ain't nothing but a love vibration. When we're together, it ain't nothing but a love vibration. It ain't nothing but a whole lot of love going on. Seriously. We're not gonna, I told these lizards years ago, when we start incarnating here in mass, light workers and starseeds, we're going to start coming, and we're going to start coming, and we won't stop coming, and it won't stop, and it don't stop, and it ain't going to stop. Even at the break of dawn, we're going to keep coming and wear you out through attrition. It'd be like playing us a sports game. You're going to be down people, and we're going to be fresh and have swapping people in and out. It's going to be resilient. It's going to be brutal for you, you lizards, the dark side. It's going to be brutal for you. You're going to have no choice but to convert or, go somewhere else. Because it's going to be time and time again, we're just going to keep coming back. And we're going to be spreading the love. We're going to get this whole planet wrapped up in a love sphere, a crystal-like love sphere. Okay, it ain't nothing but a love train. Okay, and I'm not talking about, no, this is an energy exchange between two people. That's kind of how in the way higher dimensions like sex is. It's just an energy exchange between two people who love each other, and it could be from anything. It's just, and then there's the type where you have it with a friend or bond with a child. It's an energy exchange. It's not a, some of the Pleiadians I've talked to, one of the collectives, I don't know, we got into when he started laughing, and I said, what the hell? He's like, the way you guys do sex. And it's weird to have a guy tell you that. I said, well, I guess. And he said, it's just, with us, it's just kind of in a higher realm, it's just an energy exchange. I said, yeah, sure probably makes it a lot easier. I asked him, what's the feeling like? And he said, well, about 1,000 times more intense than what you go through in your peak of it. I said, really? I said, fuck, no wonder we can't do it. It'd probably blow up our bodies. And he said, yeah, it would. It'd be like us coming down into our human body onto your planet. It's too dense down there for us. And so it's kind of like the opposite. And I said, wow, really? Oh, fuck, man. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you ain't praying to my God. Was that Jesus' response? Yeah, I know. He must have been a great man, and he must have had the patience of a saint. Well, obviously he did. I mean, and he just knew that they knew not what they did. So he could go at it like that because he understood he understood the spectrum, 10 tenths of it. Us light workers are getting there. We're about 7 to 9 tenths of it. Some of these ladies I know are about like 9 tenths of it. They're there. But these regular people that we're dealing with, they're looking at 3 tenths of the motherfucker, okay? And Christ could see the whole 10 tenths. So he's like, hey, I mean, I know what I'm here for. I know who they are. I know what I'm doing. I know there's no surprises coming my way. But still, I'm sure every now and then, even though he knew it and shit, he's probably just chuckling. He'd chuckle and probably shake his head. Because it's, you know and see it, but sometimes after a while, you just fuck. Even when it happens right on cue, you just, whatever. Yeah. These human bodies are terrible. The creation, the light did not create the dark. The light did not create the dark. I'll tell you exactly what the hell happened. We were creator gods and goddesses, and we got so busy doing our own thing, right? We got so busy, we were creating and doing it out of love, but we took our minds off spiraling our love. We're always supposed to spiral our love. So what happened was the light stretched too thin. It got dense in places, and it started making a more denser body, right? And then what happened was then you get attached to that body. You know what can happen when you do that? You need to take care of that body. Guess what? Then you get addictions and shit, right? And then you end up being lying and deceiving because you want, whether it's any kind of pleasure you want to your body, right? And you need it because your body's fucking hurting. There's no question. So that creates that deception, that evil, and then from that it just got, carried away. So now we're in this, they play this game where, duality teaches, well, fuck, I didn't need to learn that lesson. No, I'm not about that shit, about, duality has its place, but I agree with them on this. I do agree with them on this. We don't have any fucking choice. I mean, we made it happen. We don't, in this existence, until as we're transferring out of it, we don't have any choice but to acknowledge it like that. That okay, and try to make it sound like it served its purpose, because there's probably some people it has. So we'd have no choice but to do it, because we're stuck with the motherfucker, okay? That dark shit, we're stuck. We got stuck with it. We're getting rid of it now, but we got stuck with it. So we had no choice but to acknowledge the fucking shit for a while, right? Okay, so I hear what they're saying. It's a good, like, new age talking point. And I'm a new ager till I die. But, I mean, some of the shit they come up with, though, but I don't blame them. I mean, because you can't, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's like I'm always talking about our pioneers, our forefathers to our community. Okay, so in the 70s and 80s in the new age, the internet was there, and I break it down like this. Well, it was if you were in San Francisco or LA, it was cool and hip. But if you didn't live in those two cities, and we're like we are now with crystals and shit, fuck, dude. You're outcast city, USA, baby. But so, but little metaphysical centers and living light centers around the living, loving, learning life of light center that I wanted to create anyway. They were around places, but the thing is, that movement, about a third of them were fucking crazy. Another third of them were like, not really one. They were kind of half-assed at it, right? So whatever. And the other third, though, were the hippest, coolest pioneers you'd ever meet. Dude, I know this crystal guy was a friend of mine on Facebook. I got a conversation that he did on the Los Angeles radio show in '85. Man, he talked about crystals better than I've ever heard anybody now. I've got it on audio. Dale Walker. Actually, I posted it to either the Light Grid Project or Express. I posted it. It's with Dale Walker Crystals. Fuck, man. The shit he talks about doing in there, and, and the host had crystals too, and they were talking about putting in the fridge, and they had a certain kind of refrigerator where that crystal kept shit cold. I'm not even kidding. He put it in his spa and shit. There's some special kind of crystals he put in his spa to clean it out instead of chemicals. I don't know. It was a great conversation, though. So, anyway, I love crystals to death. I need to get some kyanite, though. I was told by a Pleiadian sister, her name's Maya, out of the UK, that I needed, she said she senses in my energy I need to get some kyanite. And she's not weird. She really was telling me how great I was doing and everything. And I always look to my big sisters for advice. Even if they're younger, they're my big sisters. Because that's my energy from the Pleiades. They run the show up there. I mean, they're not overbearing, but if you got a good idea, they'll listen. But we defer to them in an emergency. But she said I need to get some kyanite and sleep with it under my pillow. Yeah, and I was talking, I said to some people, I said, yeah, people, look, I get it. I know, it's not, I posted a picture of it in the orbs. I'm like, here's kyanite. Yeah, people, I know it's not amethyst, but I'm a blue guy. Give me a break. I'm not an indigo. Okay, I love amethyst too, don't get me wrong, but, I'm a blue ray. Okay, so, Yeah, I'm not really into the, like a lady I was talking with, Carolyn, we're going to be doing a bunch of shows together. She loves crystals too, but she's really not into, the what different ones do for you and shit. And really what I need to get is an expert on that knows crystals. I want to promote their business and everything, and I want them to come on the air with me and talk about their crystals, but I would need them to also, what I would want to do in return is I need to know what these crystals do. I want to know what an amethyst does and what, and I want to know about cleansing them because I know they got 3 advices. One person gave me a fucking big long thing to do to cleanse one. One person just said set it out in the sun. Another person said fuck it, just clean it off if it's dirty. But they're strong, they're powerful. They don't need anybody fucking with them like that. And I said okay, yeah, because I was trying to get rid of some energy from my ex-wife and stuff. But just move on. You know what I mean? Not to get into that, but. It's been rough, okay? It's been a rough 2 years. I feel alone and shit, but, never, okay. But okay, yeah, well, you know what? That's good. Why don't you come on air sometime with me? We could do it on the fly. I could restart a show now and we could talk about your crystals. Or we could set it up for another time even. Come on. All I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you. I'll ask you, I ask one scripted question, listen, and that's it. I'll just ask you. It's kind of a two-part. I'll ask you if you're born awakened or what time, what point in your life do you think you started to awaken, and I'll say, when did you start getting into what you're into? Like you're into crystals and shit and all that. About what age were you, and have you explain that? You get what I'm saying, right? And then after that, we'll go completely into what you're up to, what you do, what you sell, what you offer, but I also want to know along the way, and it'll help you to explain this too, it'll help your sales a little bit probably. I want to know what some of these crystals do. I'm not going to ask you about every goddamn one because I don't know the names of certain ones. I got a nice citrine, I'm sure you know what that is, Citrine. It's kind of a weird in the sun, it kind of glows like a greenish, not kind of a banana yellow really when the sun hits it. Okay, so I do need to get a crystal expert on. I think it'd be great, so we can have it broke down because it's all about too the articulation. Like David Starr and Francesca. I know David. David is a fucking master articulator. Okay, I know about 95% of the shit he does, or 90, I'd say, but I can't articulate it the way these indigos can. Okay, but I like doing what I do, and I don't do this shit. Believe me, I have no delusions, people, that I'm going to be the next Art Bell or, you know. Well, I do think I'm better than George Norrie, but I'll never be in his position. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a crystal expert on that could talk about some of this stuff, what they do, what their healing methods are. They're living beings, and emphasize that they get their nutrition from the sunlight. Some of it, but fuck, man, most of it they're so ascended they don't really. They're just there. They're just kind of there. You know what I mean? I mean, they do their duty, but they don't really, they don't ask a whole lot out of you. You don't have to go to the store. They don't ask you to make a store run for them or anything. You know what I mean? They're really just kind of, they're so ascended they just are. It's kind of almost like a couple levels down. You have the tree beings, the tree realms. They're a trip to deal with. Wait till you get freaked out by the tree realms. They're those goofy guys. Jesus. They are, though. They're funny. And there's different ones in there. I've got pictures of them. I got pictures of Glora. I got pictures of Pleiadian ships flying around me and circling me when they get down to their light shift. Then Procyon's the big one I've been talking to lately. I think I'm the only one channeling those motherfuckers. Yeah, it's like with this. I try to get people to donate those sometimes. I have a Cash App that I just got. I don't know why I did, but I have PayPal. But I'm like, dude, if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, send me $1. I've told one dude one time. He was trying to hustle me. And I said, hey, man. And I was serious, too. I said, really? You want me to get into Bitcoin and shit? I said, I'll tell you what, dude. You got me. This could ruin my reputation if you showed anybody. Here, this is what I'm going to do for you. You send me $25 or $20, and I'll send you 25 back. I mean, because I tested him. I'm like, dude, I'm hungry. I'm broke. Don't you think you could, I'll listen to your Bitcoin shit, but you got $5, you send me. He's all, no, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't let them drink, or can't make them drink or something. And I was like, fine, I had him clean. I said, dude, I'm just messing with you. Look, bro. And this is the truth. Ask around about me. And I told him, I'll give you 25 or dollars if you send me 20. If you have that, if you can put forth that good faith effort to do that, do it. And I said, send me 10, I'll send you 15. So what if I ripped you off on that? At least you learned, but you could tell, you could totally run me through the mud with what I just wrote to you. So why don't you do that? No, fuck no, I didn't want to do it. Dude, people are cheap. And it's not that people are cheap. People are broke, but people are, okay, this thing, what I learned, people are weird with money. And I'm not talking about saving it and being frugal. I'm not talking about overspending. I'm not talking about that kind of shit, the typical, right? Because that's okay, you know, you got to do that. You got to do that. But they're weird about it. I'm not going to go into stories on me sometime. I've taken too much time out here, but I've got some stories that are so weird that you'd believe because they'd be like, dude, you couldn't make that up. With people that I've dealt with that have wanted to donate and shit, and then just the weirdest, strangest shit. It's strange, man. And again, it has nothing to do with trying to save it or, you know, being careful with it. It's just weird. Yeah, people are fucking strange with it. I don't know, man. I don't know, but weird. Life is strange. Life is funny. Bees make honey. Skies are sunny. You know, and all that good shit. Free crystal with every order. Okay, well, you know, you can get a hold of me and we'll talk about it. Come on air and I'll promote. I mean, I'll promote your show. The show will be promoted. Then what I'll do is I'll put it in groups. Then what I'll do is I'll go back a day later, or a couple hours later, and a day later, and put your website down in the comments so it bumps that page, that bumps that post up to the top of the group. Now, a page doesn't work that way. A page is like a timeline. Okay, it's almost exactly like one, a few variations. But then, you know, we'll see what happens with it. I put it in like over 40 groups and shit and do all that and bump it and, you know, put the show on Instagram, put it on TikTok, yeah, put it on Snapchat, WhatsApp, all that shit. I put it everywhere and even do it. Well, Twitch you can't upload, but I'll do a live feed from Twitch. I'll put up the show and play it on Twitch. I mean, I've done that. But, yeah, it's been really something. I've rambled for 1,000 hours now. Probably if it's over an hour, I'm not going to be able to post it to TikTok. I'll have to, yeah, let's get rid of it. But so in the community nowadays, right? Like the light language thing's really a big thing going on, right, guys? In our community, the light language is pretty popping up right now. Of course, crystals are always there. So mainly sale YouTube channel. Yeah, good. You get yourself a YouTube channel. Here's the thing about YouTube. You have to have 50 subscribers to be able to go live, but you can still tape shit and upload it. That's just the only thing I didn't know. I didn't know that because all my pages were really big, but then I had those two I started to use, the Rainbow Orb one and the Blue Healing, Pleiadian Blue Love and Healing. And they were like in their early 40s, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to, that was fine. I got them. But the one thing is, on Facebook too, you can't go live on a page. You cannot go live on a page unless you have 100 followers. Right, and I do on all 14, except I've got one that's like 14 short, the Arcturian Translucent Color Realms. Now, the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels has over 1,000, you know, likes and followers, but they're 10,000, excuse me, it's got 10,000. But I've had it for about 10 years. Okay, the Translucent Realms, that's the only one, and then I'll be fine, I won't even care. But yeah, kind of looking at that, and I'd like to get that over, you know, the 15 more likes on that, so I could go live from there. But I don't do live on Facebook much. I'm just a numbers and a stats guy, though. And I keep this shit in my head because I have what's called Pleiadian autism. And I'm not talking about Earth autism. Don't even know that I get people that are like, I don't care what your opinion on it is. I'm talking about Pleiadian autism. It has nothing to do with Earth. Nothing at all. It's about where I was in an incarnation. Now, the only thing it has in common with it a little bit is, you know, a very, very, very high functioning form of autism. Earth autism has a little bit in common with Pleiadian. Or Pleiadian autism has a little bit in common with that. But that's not, yeah, it's just we're weird. You know, Pleiadians are weird people. We're weird. We're in, we're out, we're up, we're down. And it's not a mood swing thing. All at the same fucking time. We're extroverts, introverts. Up, down, here, there. We come all day, but we don't even come. Or, I mean, we stay all day, but we don't even show up. All of it at once. And then what that does is it evens us out completely, except there's that little kind of thing you can't get about us. And dude, Pleiadians are so vast. Pleiadians brought not only, the Pleiadians brought goth and witches, Wicca and witches to Earth, but they also brought rainbows and psychedelic colors and all this shit, getting it from both ends. I mean, you've got people that are Pleiadians all the way from fucking Gene Simmons to Sarah McLachlan to Paul McCartney to Steve Miller to, you know, all those different people. Trent Reznor. I mean, you know, can you imagine Trent Reznor and Sarah McLachlan going out on a date? But see, they're all different and vast like the Pleiadian community, but they all have a little weird link we all have in common that we can't put our finger on to describe. And other starseeds don't quite have that weirdness like that. Even the ones that are mixed. Some are mixed Pleiadian and are, have Lyran and Sirian in them, and Orion, and maybe Casopian. I think I've only met one Casopian in my life that I know, but I think she was part, but I'm not sure. I think maybe Pleiadian too. But the girl looks like she came right off a ship. I was even showing her a picture the other day to people. She posts sometimes in my orbs group, but this girl looks like, how we all incarnated here, but before we came down, we went ahead and had a thing adjusted, and one little twitch thing adjusted on her face or something. Yeah, she didn't do that. She didn't run through that. She just went through, and looks like she's straight off the fucking ship, the Pleiadian ship. Yeah, her. You'd have to see her, but it's really wild. Yeah, and I've even accused her in on the page. I'm like, girl, come clean. You're an alien, girl. Come on. How do you speak to these orbs? And she's like, I speak telepathically to them. She's from Austria, so there might be a language barrier. But it's real matter of fact and weird. It's really, and then I feel like I'm related to her. She's a niece, a cosmic niece of mine or something. And I'm like, girl, you're a fucking alien. I said that to her too. Come on, come clean. Come on, Heidi, you're an alien. But yeah, man. And I've met tens of thousands of people. But this girl, I saw her, and I've showed her to a couple of friends, not guy friends, but girls, sisters I trust. And they're like, yeah, wow, that's something. I said, yeah, I know. And it isn't even really just her looks. I don't know, there's some energy about it. It's weird. But anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, autistic. Yeah, a lot of starseeds are, especially the Pleiadian variety. And now that I'm thinking about it, it just hit me something. A link just hit me that I never thought of. I think what you just said made it connect, and that's what a starseeds do when we talk. Those people I just mentioned, those Pleiadians, the thing I couldn't put my finger on that or never have that they all have in common. It's a little bit of that autism. They're just a little. They have that little weirdness, but that doesn't even really explain it, but we know what it is. But even as Pleiadians, we're like, yeah, it's just, well, probably because we're just Pleiadian. That's what it is. We're all different, but we're all from the same kind of. We're all from the the consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy. I'm getting tired, but yeah, the collective consciousness center of the Milky Way galaxy is open Monday through Friday, all the time. Okay. Come on in. You got nine different locations. Atlas, Pleione, Electra, Callione, Astrope, Merope, Maya, Tegeta, Alcyone. I think I got them all. I hope I didn't diss on any of the sisters. But those are just suns. The planets that they're inhabit up there around them. So basically, what you'll see up there is either a big, nice biodome city, or you'll see a couple of big cities that look like our big cities, way modern, but not really. About a handful of those really modern, and then a lot of it's rural area. Most of it's towns that are 25,000 people. And what's weird is the fucking plants talk up there. Everything's so ascended up there. The colors, the animals, the dogs talk to you. Yes, they do. They're pets. They have other kind of weird, trippy pets. Now their elementals are really fucking weird looking. I mean, for as beautiful as the Pleiadian people are, their elementals are really like, I can't describe them. You'd have to see them. They're really bizarre. I mean, they have regular ones like we have here on Earth too, right? But then there's ones that didn't ever come here. It's weird. They have wisps that are really cool, that are bright and lightful. I channeled one of the wisps one time, and I said, dude, I asked this wisp up there in the channel. I said, man, yeah, astrology, I'll get into that in a second. Yeah, and I said, hey, how many different variations of you are there, like colors? I asked this little guy, and he said, in your Earth terms, there's 50 different variations of us in color. I said, there's 50. I said, really? There's 50 different colors. I was in a real deep conversation with him. I said, really? 50? And he said, yeah, there's 50 different colors of us. He said, we have our primary ones that you'll mainly see, but there's 50 of us. I said, wow. He said, think of it this way. He said, think of it this way, dear soul. Some races in your city, there might be more of them than there are certain others. So with wisps, there are the predominant ones that you see, where they have their families of that color, but there's more of them than there are certain others. Like some colors don't have as many in there, so they're not as they're not as seen. But he said in all they have 50 up there. And I thought that was interesting. Also, she learns all kinds of crazy shit from the Pleiadian girls. You have to go to you got to get a PhD to be considered a goddess up there. You got to get what they consider a PhD. But when you go for a PhD up there, or any degree, you don't have to take a bunch of bullshit things or other things that aren't part of what you're doing and that are going to be hard for you to pass. No, but what you have to do is demonstrate you can do what you say you can do. And then you go through classes on it to, well, they do what they do, but they all met at college up there. Yeah. The great Central Sun Galactic owner. Yeah. On my other channel last night, I channeled the Central Sun for the first time. It's funny you mention him. On the Rainbow Orb channel, the smallest one, I channeled him, the Sun Orbs. They had some really crazy shit to say. The only thing they ragged on humanity for was they were treating animals. They kind of got a little bit annoyed. They couldn't emphasize enough how disappointed they were with the way animals had been treated and that animals are sacred to them. And they said, we are not judgmental, you know that, but when it comes to our animals, don't fuck with our animals. He didn't say fuck, but I forget what he said, don't screw around with those animals anymore. Get it together, humanity. Then, of course, I explained to people that your pet, your cat, your cat or your dog, or whatever fucking pet you have, right? Okay, of course you're going to love him and feed him good food and water, right? Give him shelter. There's one other thing you're missing that you don't realize you're doing for them. You are doing it, even though you don't know it, though you're doing for your pets. You are teaching that pet. It's giving you love and teaching you capacity. You know what you're teaching him? You didn't even realize it. You're teaching him or her that because they're used to a pack mentality, right, by nature. They're used to a pack mentality for the pack. They're out to hunt food, out to survive, out together, right, for the pack. You're teaching them that they're an individual and that they're loved. You're teaching them to be aware. You're teaching them, get this, to be aware of themselves. And not aware of themselves as just part of the herd. That they're an individual. They can be loved like an individual. That's what you're showing them. You're making them aware of themselves. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet you didn't know you were doing that for them. Yes, you are. Absolutely. You're making them aware of who they are. Telepathic with a mind. Okay, yeah. Snow White, yeah. You know what? Starseeds are fucking weird, though. We are a weird bunch. I mean, I love it, but aren't we? We embrace it and we own it, but we are a weird bunch of people. Whether you're into astrology, numerology, all those ologies, astral traveling. See, those are things I'm not into, but I'm a big fan of them. I'm a big fan of my brothers and sisters that do those different things, even though that's not what my forte is, right? But I'm just a conduit. Yeah, I'm just a conduit to hook people up together and shit, That's all I do. That's all I was sent here to do, And cuss a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to work on that, but, I know. I really got to quit my fucking cussing. God. I don't know. Yeah, we are a weird bunch of people. By society standards, I don't like using that word, but we're different. Oh yeah, because you know why? Because we see everything. We see the light, and it's really hard sometimes living in this world to fake it like you don't. It just makes the person want to shake their head. Yeah. Fuck, those lizards were fucking psychos, man. The shit in the Bible, too, like, what a misogynistic fucking book. Oh, yeah, eBay, and it's so fucking what if eBay an apple. I'm fucking Mr. If somebody would have been there to love her and satisfy her, I'm sure that fucking... You know what a starseed woman, enlightened woman just loves? She just loves a fucking non-awakened guy who's a 60-second man. I mean, I'm sure that they just would love that. I mean, I'm not going to get personal with any of it, but I'm sure they would just love a fucking... some guy that just came home, hey, baby, and that's all he wanted, and, hey, Because there was a song when I was growing up, but not when I was growing up, but my grandfather had this old song called, it was this guy, I'm a 60-minute man, I'll rock 'em, sock 'em all night long, I'm a 60-minute man, you know what he was talking about. But dude, these dudes aren't fucking even, dude, 60 seconds, you're dreaming, dude, 15 seconds, fucking Mr. Double, Mr. Double Pump and go. I mean, dude, come on, but to a woman, it's spiritual. And because this way, women are about, I figured this out years ago, 10 to 15 points smarter than men, IQ-wise, but it's not even really that. They're about 5 to 20 times more in tune with consciousness than men are. And when I say 5%, man, I'm talking about dudes like me that are really awakened with it. I'm not bragging, but you know what I mean? Even me, they're like 5 times. But most people, guys, shit, it's up 20 times more in tune with consciousness. right? So, yeah, I mean, I just think about that. Fucking this. I'm glad women were treated like such dog shit, and then these guys would come home all drunk and expect something and fuck what to a man, dude. To a man like that, it ain't spiritual. It's just about fucking taking a piss to him, dude. And so no wonder, fucking dude. Dude, we tell you what, we have fucking fucked over minorities and women and animals, and I'll tell you, I had to sickly grow up hearing about this golden age of the 1950s because my dad grew up in that era, right? And I even knew from a young age, I would tell him, Dad, I bet it was so wonderful if you were white, middle-aged, and older, or middle class and above, and white and not non-Jewish. So let me get this straight, Dad. So if you were a woman of any race, if you were a minority of any race, if you were a fucking Jew or some other religion, if you were into like the New Age, then because it was there a little bit, Saint Germain's teachings and stuff, right? And Edgar Casey, but I mean, really, there's been a lot of and hopefully we're enlightened. But if we ascend, we need to remember but not dwell. Remember but not dwell. But this one we might not have to because I'm thinking this shit's gonna be a reset completely. So who knows? But why we're still here and fucking down here in preservative land, that that amusement park we have called preservative land. I was looking at some lady's dish the other day, Yvonne Ganez. She's really cool, really smart lady, intuitive life coach, and she was showing me a vegetarian dish with some people she had. She's over in Scandinavia, and I wrote and I posted it somewhere, and I'm like, this is not something you could probably get over here in that giant amusement park we live in, called the preservative land, aka the USA. These Scandinavians can't believe it. They can't believe that we have bread that lasts for a week and on the shelves for a couple of weeks. I said, yeah, dude, yours guys go bad. He said, yeah, we make it naturally, but it does go bad in just a couple of days, like 2 days. And I'm like, fuck, man, our shit stays. Hey, fuck you, man, our shit stays good forever. And I wasn't even thinking. He's like, yeah, well, I wonder why. And I thought, yeah, I wonder why. You know what I mean? I said, hey, man, we can have one up in the goddamn cupboard for a year. He said, yeah. Yeah. And I'm thinking, yeah, great. Am I eating plastic? No, but I've been a vegetarian for years. I don't eat dead shit. You know what I mean? I don't, and I don't eat blood. I'm not a cannibal. But I don't judge people that eat meat, but it's cannibalism, man. It's not illegal like it, but you're eating blood and something with blood and guts, and yeah, yuck, man. And the big fucking deception is, oh, you need it for protein. Fuck no, you don't. You get it better out of some veggies and protein shakes and supplements. Fuck, I don't need it for that shit. Come on, that's a big illusion. And Yvonne and I were talking about that and laughing. It's like, fuck, man. These beef industries got people fucking going, trying to justify it every way. Like, I've even heard this, well, you eat plants, they're alive. I said, well, dude, I'm gonna hit you 2 ways like this to shut you down. Okay, first of all, so that's true. Okay, so do you eat salad? He said, yeah. I said, well, you eat meat and salad. I've already got you beat. I'll eat one of the live things then. And I said, let me kick it to you. Let me kick it to you straight, kid. Let me tell you something, rookie. Look, plants, when you take care of them, right? They die off, but they replenish themselves. They replenish it as a gift to you. Okay? It's Mother Earth feeding you. It's not another fucking entity, another physical being that's with blood and guts. Yes, they do have their own form of bleeding. They have their own form of shit. In fact, DNA-wise, they're probably closer to us than animals are. Okay? It's complicated, but still, it's not. But people want to say, oh, you eat salad, they're alive. Well, I only eat one thing that's alive, then you got two. So what the fuck are you talking about? But that's what I like to do. If I'm right, if I think I'm right about something, I'm kind of quiet. But if I think I'm right, man, dude, I ain't gonna let I'll close you down before you respond. Oh man, I think that show flipped off, but I know it came back on. But yeah, dude, I'll be like, I'll hit you. I'll have it already covered, and it's annoying sometimes. I know, but it's just like, man, okay, there you go. Okay, but if it was this way, it had to be this way. But if they did this, I could see how that happened. And so, I go into that montage and I cover every angle that they may use already so they don't have to. I'm being a nice guy. Yeah. I'm not a bad guy, but I'm the funky Phil one. Okay? I'm the real one. Yes, the funky Phil one. As the great Cypress Hill would say. But that's another story, Black, as they would also say. Anyway, I love it. Yeah, Chloe. Okay, so girl, you can get me on Facebook. My name is Larry Locken. There's two Larry Lockins on Facebook. One is my old man. He's older. You can tell. And I got like either my picture is me, a guy standing there staring up at the ceiling, or it's all these rainbow rays I had shoot off me. A friend took a picture of all these beautiful rainbow rays coming off of me and light codes and shit in them in different faces, probably different lifetimes of mine. But okay, girl, and I'm everywhere. If you were ever on any other social media site besides YouTube or Facebook, all those others I said, all those others. I'm the Larry Locken channel. Now that's either one word together or they're split up, right? Okay, so you know what I mean? They're all one together or they're split up. The Larry Locken channel. That's on Instagram, all those grams, all those yams, all those Twitters, itters, Twitch, Tweaker. They ought to have one that's just late at night called Tweaker. Yeah, Twitch and Twitter are affiliated with each other. Yeah, but anyway, you can find me everywhere under that name, okay? Even Blue Sky, I think I'm Blue Pleiadian, or Pleiadian Blue Lightning on Blue Sky, but I think I'm also Larry Locken channel too, yeah, so find me anywhere there on Facebook, you can find me. Alright, I'm everywhere, anywhere, but nowhere at all. I'm not even from here. I don't exist in time. Yeah, I'm really beginning to think so. I think I'm turning Japanese. I'm turning Japanese. I really think so. Yeah, that was an old song. Anyway, yeah, I'm turning Pleiadian. I really think so. Okay, so all right, cool, girl. Yeah, where'd you find me? What? Facebook. Okay, see, Facebook, people bitch about Facebook, but really for what I do, it's still the best brand, okay? And especially since Zuckerberg said he ain't a stupid businessman. He's like, dude, okay, the censorship's going. You know what I mean? And he's right. He's, a good business decision, and he's going to keep what people he's got, because until one of these other ones, if TikTok were to make fucking 2 adjustments or so, it can make a run at some of their people. But, dude, we got to use them all. You know what I mean? If they would all get their shit together, Lemon 8. I like lemons, and I love the color yellow. It's my second favorite color. I'm a blue nut and a yellow, and I'm a blue fucking nut. If you knew me, I'd have everything blue. The drapes, the carpet, everything. But I love yellow, too. Oh, thank you, sweetie Chloe. You have beautiful energy, dear. And I don't mean that as a bullshit cliche. I'm as real as you can get. Well, I describe myself, I'm 98% the realest person you'll ever meet, and I'm 2% phony. And the 2% phony is just to, just to keep me grounded here. That's it. It's like the blue orbs. The blue orbs are 99% angel, 1% evil. The 1% evil is just to keep them grounded while they have to be here. That's it. The other 99% is angelic, so it's really a recessive trait. It's just kind of there, but it doesn't kick up. It's hard to explain. The white ones are the only ones that are purely, completely angelic. But funny enough, the white ones look up to the blue ones. I know they all, Reminds me of the story I heard about the Rolling Stones one time. They all wanted to be each other. They all had this obsession with each other. Like Mick, the lead singer, he wanted to be Keith. Keith wanted to be the fucking drummer. And, they just people get into that kind of thing where they're into other people's lives. Yeah. Or they're into wanting to be that and not themselves. I mean, we've all been there. Shit, dude. I'm not, yeah. I mean, I left and come back, who's who I'm now, but, I can remember other lifetimes when I was like that. Not many, because I've only been here one other time on Earth, and that was during Atlantis. In Lemuria, I was an ambassador and a ship captain for the Pleiades. Yeah, but other than that, I've watched Earth a lot and know what's going on, so, Anyway, people, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, gotta get this show up, and I shouldn't have rambled so long. But Chloe, yeah, it was really cool. Thank you very much. Do me one favor, check out the Pleiadian Rainbow Orbs page on Facebook. It's Pleiadian and Angelic. Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs. Alright, and I played in Express Productions. I have one for me. I have a fucking whole ton of them. Look, people, if you really want to know who I am and what I'm into, I gotta clean the page up a little bit, but I have a page on Facebook. It's under 2 names. You can either go to the Larry Locken Network, or you can go to Rock and Lock and social media outlets. Either one, that's the name of the page, and it shows everything that I do, right? You can find all my 5 YouTube channels, Instagram, all that shit, okay? I'm not going to get into the rhyme. All that shit. The different groups I have on Facebook, which the Pleiadians had me create like a shitload of them for the planet. They're still there. I have a couple Arcturian ones too, and one Andromedan one, and it's another thing. The Arcturians and the Andromedans, I'm telling you, they're the same people. They were created. It's a long story. Anyway, yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, son. If you want to come on here, I'm telling you, it takes 2 seconds to set a show up sometimes, really. I mean, I plan events sometimes and do an announcement that I'm going to, but I do these on the fly. You got to understand, I cut my teeth on taking star seeds that I found in the groups and people like you and saying, come on, we're coming on air. That I made some people pretty popular. You know, so that was when I was on N5D too, and they were huge back then. Fuck, man. Greg Prescott had an empire going there, and it was a pleasure to work for him. Yeah, I'm going down too. All right, girl, I'm out. I'm 5x5. I'm 10-10 on the side, cosmically. Roger that. Okay. We're going to do a hand jig and a knob job and keep poking, toking, smoking, and boogieing on down the highway, and I'm out. All right, finally I'm out. Yeah, I know. I know you don't, but I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is I want you to listen to this. They didn't either. They can't. I had to get them kicking and screaming to come on air, and by the way they did it, they couldn't help it. It just happened. It'd be like you getting your thing going, right, and having people really interested in it, and all of a sudden interested in you, right? You can't help it. You're just doing what you're doing, right? I know you don't care about it, and it's the people that don't care about it that you end up getting a shitload of it. You know what I'm saying? But don't let what I would get pissed off at, yeah, is don't let a fear of it hold you back. Who gives a fuck? Dude, you come on there. If you want to use an assumed name, you can. You want to use your page name, that's another thing. If you're going to have a brand, only have 2 names. Only have your name on it, or have one name you've come up with. But you can use them both. You know, like your timeline on Facebook, you can have you, but then you can have that name. Don't use more, unless you're creating them for other purposes, like I have. I'm not a good example to use. But take, like, I've got Carolyn Roberts, for instance, who I do shows with and will do a bunch with coming up next month. She's got a page called Allowing the Light. Facebook, Instagram, Allowing the Light, right? But her name's Carolyn Lanier Roberts. But she doesn't deviate from those 2. Don't deviate from your name and then you can pick one other, but don't start making up a whole bunch of shit. Have it under one brand. Get yourself a PayPal. The only one I don't have is Venmo. But I'm old. I'm an old fuck. Get yourself, don't be afraid to ask people for donations, even if you're doing a show type of format or channeling or readings or astrology, numerology, biology, whatever ology you want to get into. I'm cool with it. Whatever your thing is. All right, people. I am out. I love you so much. I really do. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing but a love vibration. And I feel when I say that like some phony fucker, religious cult leader or some shit saying, but I really do mean it. I really do mean it. I love you guys. All right? I love you. I'm just a conduit. Please let me help you. I don't want anything out of it but the fucking satisfaction of doing a show with you or something and then watching you grow. I don't want nothing. Okay, maybe let me see. If you win the fucking lottery at $50 million, I want, a couple of $1,000. How about that? If you win the lottery ever. But other than that, no, I don't want to. All right, guys. God, I can't. Oh, fuck. I almost went 2 hours. Oh, well. All right. You can't help what spirit does. And we don't exist in time, by the way, on the PEP. All right, I love you so much. I hate to let you go. Oh, God. I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go. I used to tell this girl I was with. But that was for another reason that I'd love to see her go. It was something else I was watching on her. Anyway, little telling on myself there. But yeah, that was in my younger days. Yeah. Anyway, it's all about worshiping that part of a body on a woman too. Any good man should worship his woman's booty. Anyway, all right, I'm out. With that being said, yeah, I think that's too much information. Yeah, I won't even tell you that you should do something to. He should do something on a weekend. There's something he should do to it for 8 hours at a time too, but we won't go into that if he really loved his goddess. All right, peace. I was just talking about a massage, I was talking about going down for 8 hours. I think I'm the only dude that does that.